Welcome to the channel. I'm Hayes. I talk movies all day. Sometimes I talk about games. So subscribe right now if you want to be entertained. And today we are starting a brand new thing on the channel. This is called Games and Frames. I might change the name to be honest, but I like it so far. Games and Frames. And as you can see, I've got some guests with me. The idea of this particular series of videos is that's kind of like a podcast, kind of like a except it's not going to be on Spotify just yet or Apple just yet, but maybe one day. But it's a podcast format, so we're going to have some guests on today. We got Alex, we got Zeke. They're going to introduce themselves in a moment. But just to let you know, the idea of this video is that we're going to talk about movies, we're going to talk about games, geek culture. Right now, it's going to be focused on E3, but other episodes, we might talk about different things and that kind of stuff. So, if it sounds like something you like, then hit that subscribe button. Let me know what's up. Drop a comments, make some suggestions, all of that. And definitely check out these guys as well because they're doing awesome things. So, y'all know me, and if you don't know me, my name's Blamir Hazan, or Hayes, or Bandit Hayes, or whatever. And I do this channel, and I do other channels. I do comedy, I do vlogs, I do movie and game reviews. I act sometimes. I game test. I've been playing games since like the day before forever. So yeah, that's me. If you don't already know, Alex, say something, man. Let the people know who you is.
Yeah, so I'm Alex. I got so much interest in gaming. Like I actually run a company called Cyclical. So we're actually in the esports space. So, the developments over there from just mainstream gaming over to competitive gaming has just been a sight to behold, to be honest. So at the moment, we're just kind of sorting things out to produce a grassroots league. Shout out to Josh. I know you'll be watching. Make sure to share with all your guys. Yeah, so there's that. And then I also kind of work in the marketing area as well. So I like to just be around gaming and the business world and all of that.
All right, nice. Zeke, what's up, man?
Oh, what's good, man? I'm Ezekiel Martin. I'm an actor. Just filmed a few feature films recently. I've been in the gaming industry for basically as soon as I grew up and born, playing my friend's Nintendo 64. Then I moved specifically more to Xbox, but I know all like the consoles. I've actually won a couple of tournaments on Call of Duty. Didn't win too much money, not the high ups, but like the MMA game battles. I won. So I've got my competitive side, to Halo as well. Like the Xbox side is more my speciality. Obviously single player games as well, but yeah, I'm more on the film side and TV side. So recently just did my friend's feature film called Makeup that's coming out. So check that out when it comes out. Did actually a feature role on Hannah as well on Amazon Prime. So yeah, just trying to share my knowledge from the gaming side and from the movie side too. Subscribe and share, man. Gotta enjoy it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So yeah, this episode is going to be focused on E3 that just happened. We're going to talk about the different conferences and some of the games that got announced and things are coming out, what we're looking forward to, and that whole thing. Before we get into that, though, just a quick little section on what you guys been playing. So Zeke, what games you been playing lately? What's taking up most of your time?
I'm not gonna lie, I've been going back to the Halo Master Chief Collection. Been doing it on Legendary with my boy. We just finished. We're actually in the Halo Reach right now, so I've been playing that. Then Red Dead Redemption. I actually haven't finished it, the second one. So I'm in the midst of finishing that and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Also, I went back to Jedi Fallen Order. It's just such a dope game, man. Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh yeah. I played a little bit of that.
I'm
to be
actually
honest,
watching.
well, yeah. If you like it, let me not say that. 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 If you like it, it's cool. It's calm. It's calm. It's calm. Let me not say that. And Al, what's been keeping you busy?
So recently I've been playing PES because mainly
Right, yeah.
because I'm normally a FIFA guy, but I played one of my boys the other day. He was playing, Street Fighter, Puzzle Fighter,
Oh yeah.
2 Turbo HD. We've got a long-standing rivalry. We're talking like over 10 years. We're like one game up, that kind of rivalry. So
Mm.
we played for the first time in a few years. I slightly beat him. He was sore by it. Then he spanked me at PES. So I was like, I need to get some practice in. I need to get revenge.
Yeah. Yeah, can't have that, man.
So yeah, been playing a bit of that, and then trying to finish off Final Fantasy VII Remake as well. Like that's been a fantastic game from the ground up. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what to make of it at first. I thought Final Fantasy 7 is what it is. Can they really improve on it? I like the new mechanics and everything. So yeah, it's been a good time.
All right, cool. As for myself, so I've been playing a few different games lately. I kind of end up kind of mix and match a little bit, but I did try playing League of Legends not too long ago, which I first tried playing like years back, and it's one of these games where it's like, if you're not used to it, like if you're new to it and you just look at the screen, it is so daunting. There's like options everywhere, just like what the fuck is this? But you know what I mean? It's like that, and right. But after a little while, you kind of figure out, okay, that means that and this means that. You kind of get into it a little bit. But I haven't played it for years. Picked up again not too long ago. Tried to play online, and I feel like I did reasonably okay, all things considered. All things considered. But yeah, that's a game that I might try and play a little bit more of and be like, all right, cool. Try and get one because there's just so much in there and there's so much depth to it, and it's just like,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is daunting. But I have played, but Overwatch has been my game, I guess, for a while now, well, on and off for a while. But when it comes to these like online multiplayer games, like the popular ones, yeah, Overwatch is pretty much where I'm at. So yeah, always been playing. Yeah, there's that.
When we playing Warzone.
Oh yeah, I did play Warzone actually. I played a little bit Warzone. Warzone though, nah, that's not this. I mean, here's the thing: like battle royale games, I'll say in general, I don't really get along well too much with. Apex Legends, I like because it has it has ways you can bring back in the game. It's just kind of a cool looking game, and I know Warzone has ways you can come back into the game as well. But I don't know, something about Warzone, it just doesn't.
I think Apex is actually probably the best movement game out of all of them. But I do like Warzone, but they've got loads of issues regarding like hackers, etc. So.
It's terrible, man. People are just taking the game for a joke.
There's it crashes a lot on my PC as well. Like when I load it up on my PC, it just crashes a lot. And I played it on my Xbox, which doesn't crash, but then you play with a controller. I feel like certain games are better with the keyboard and mouse. Some games are better with a controller, in my opinion. Other games are better with a keyboard and mouse. I feel like these kind of battle royale games are generally better with a keyboard and mouse. So having to play with a controller, that's part of the reason. Well, for me at least, anyway, it's just part of the reason why nah.
One issue with Xbox as well, actually, only on Warzone, is that it gets black screen. So if you get the win, it doesn't count. It just goes black screen.
No.
I've had at least probably 15 wins where I got black screen. Apparently, something if you're in the gas while you get the win, it just times you out and just black screen and you can't see nothing. And then my friends got the win and I was just there. I was like, I have at least 15 wins I didn't count. I've been looking online, like,
mate.
No, I'd be gutted, man. No, that's painful.
I don't want to play anymore, man.
No, that would yeah, that's boy, that would do it. All right, so right, so yeah, we're about to talk about some E3. E3 happened from, was it the 12th to the 15th? They do it every year. Usually it's a big, massive, spectacle of an event. Like in the E3s over the past few years, they've done massive conferences with guests and all kinds of crazy stuff going on, right? This year, not so much because of, I don't know if you heard there's a disease going around. I don't know, maybe you've heard of it. I'm not sure, like, something going around, some kind of pandemic. What they call it? What
is it? Is it chicken pox or
something like that? Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
some disease going around. So yeah, they can't do stuff like that. But yeah, they are doing like we're doing, like a Zoom and online and everything. But you know what though, I still feel like they put a great show. And I still feel like they're putting a really good show overall. I think everybody involved, all the conferences, they did what they needed to do. That being said, I mean, well, shall we mention what's the note I made? Square Enix, because my opinion of Square Enix's conference seemed to, like, when I looked online, I looked on Twitter, other people seem to echo this as well, but. What are they thinking? Like, what? I mean, like, here's the thing. I guess, like, if you're into the games, it's exciting, because they talked about, was it Marvel? They got the Marvel Games license. They did Guardians of the Galaxy. They got Marvel Avengers and the Black Panther expansion, which is free, which is awesome, right? And I guess if you're into those games, it's great. But then they did that thing. What game was it? Final Fantasy. I think it was Final Fantasy Origins or something like that, where they
Yeah,
showed
one of those ones.
they showed gameplay for it, and the amount of times this boy was saying chaos. Like, you see that? Like, he was like, "I'm here for chaos. I'm coming to kill chaos. Where's chaos? I'm looking for chaos." Like, dude, I get it. You know, like I don't know, man. It's just some odd choices I felt, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm not gonna lie, I fast forwarded just to the main game bits. the guy I was talking, I just didn't get captivated because I watched the recap, and I was just like, "What on earth was he?" Yeah, personally, that was actually one of my least favorites. But yeah, it wasn't actually the chaos bit that got me. It was something else that he said, and I was just like, "What?"
Yeah. What did you say, Alex?
So I watched the recap as well. So like a lot of E3, I didn't actually get to catch live and all of that. But for me, it was seeing Final Fantasies 1 to 6
Oh yeah,
made
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
It's like every few years they're just bringing out those old ones over and over again. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah. Did you notice
Yeah.
it was 1 to 6, Steam and mobile only.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that seems like an odd choice. Like, okay, you could have bring them out again, fine, but Steam and mobile
Yeah.
only? Like, why?
Because if they're thinking, let's catch all the people that didn't play it, I'm imagining it's a lot of the younger crowd. I don't really see them playing that on a mobile or really going on Steam.
I don't even like even the way it was mobile. I wasn't even that.
My guess is
obviously back in the days, like when you first play, it's like, oh, this, they were really good, but like mobile, there's just some things that just doesn't work out at mobile. It's like, I don't know. Maybe they put on Nintendo, it might be good for them.
Yeah,
they could have thrown it on the Switch or something.
Exactly, on the Switch.
Switch would have been good actually. But I feel like some of these games, like especially like some of the old games like Final Fantasy, and when they bring them out on mobile, I mean, it sounds like a cool thing, but I think the truth is that one, I mean, I don't know. Maybe people do it. Personally, I'm like, nah. I mean, I might download. Like, I know they brought Street Fighter, I think, out on the mobile once, and I downloaded it and played it for a little while, and it's cool, as a novelty thing. But ultimately, like, you don't really bother after about 10 minutes, because it's not really made for that kind of play. So it's kind of like these Final Fantasy games. They're made for like sort of long sessions, sitting down, controller, and sure you could play them on a mobile and you could do things to make the controls work. But when you've got your mobile in the hand, you're not really trying to be sitting down like at least I'm not anyway. I don't know. Maybe some people are, but I'm not.
They're trying to think after COVID times, like when people are traveling. So you need to make sure you have a portable charger because the problem with the games mobile.
Oh yeah.
Your battery just died. You play like probably 2 levels that, and it's just dead. So
you're done. And some of them you need to be connected to internet, even though there's no online component of the game, but they need you to be connected. So it's kind of like, so it just drains your battery even more.
Oh, that is annoying when gamers do that, isn't it? It's like, what the hell, man? It's like, bro, I'm not. Yeah, there's no online play. There's no scoreboards. There's nothing like that. It's just why. You know what I mean? Why? All right. Okay, so what did you guys think? Oh, no sense actually. What did you guys think was who gave like the best? Like who won E3 for you? Like out of all you saw, who was like, okay, yes, that's how it should be done for you.
I mean, I would say, well, it was clearly Microsoft Xbox with all of the announcements that came through, like having Bethesda on board, like all of those games. Yeah, day one, Game Pass, and it's just like, damn, like they're proper pushing for it. But I get it. They don't mind losing money on selling the actual games. They want everyone to jump on the service. And I'm someone who has been considered a bit of a Sony fanboy in the past, but I do have I've got an Xbox One. I've experienced Game Pass, and I have to say, it is worth the money for the games you get, like the rotation of games. Like, I didn't really have to buy anything across the whole year that I was playing on it.
Right. Yeah.
And I got to really enjoy different types of games as well. So they're really, really doing it.
Yeah. No, the Game Pass is phenomenal. I mean, like, change the screen real quick. But yeah, Game Pass is phenomenal. I mean, I've had it for I think a little over a year now, and pretty much it's kept me gaming throughout the pandemic. Like the amount of money like just dropped out my pocket when everything got locked down, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna have to cut down on so many things. But Game Pass, it's what $10.99. I got the Ultimate, so it's like $10.99 a month.
Yeah.
And from that, I was able to play a lot of the a lot of the, like there's some of the what was I playing like Halo, Doom, a lot of the indie games as well. So yeah, Game Pass, like bro, if it wasn't for Game Pass, I don't know what. I might not even be able to do this podcast. Quite frankly, like, what, I wouldn't have paid anything. You know what I mean? It's like what it literally kept me gaming throughout the pandemic. So yeah, and I know there's people who say things like, "Oh, it's not sustainable. They're losing money," which very well may be true. But then Microsoft can do that. You know what I mean? Microsoft are in that position where they can lose money on Game Pass because they make so much money elsewhere. So it's not even a thing for them now. I feel like what like you were saying, if you just once you get everybody on board with it, paying a $10.99 a month, they've probably got it set at that point. For now, they can just sink money into it. You know, they can, and why not just take advantage of it? Like, so what if it costs them money? If I'm only paying $10.99 and I get to play Halo Infinite day one, why am I? You know what I mean? Like, why am I? Oh, but Microsoft. What? So? What, you know what I mean? Like, oh, but so, like, I don't know, but yeah.
They did also the right thing because they've combined with EA now as well. I think for the last several months.
Oh yeah.
So, for example, Jedi Fallen Order's there now as well. I mean, games now. I mean, back in the days, games weren't as expensive, but still they're expensive. Like the time at £15-20, and it's not like £50-60. You're buying games the same price as the console. So the Game Pass has the best. I think the best solution in the sense for. You know, you just want to test out a game, you don't even like it. You know, otherwise you've got to set it back, go to a CX sort of thing, for another game. Like, you get it brand new. And also the discs as well. I love discs still personally. I'm old school, I got to that book. But, you know, it's safe in the sense that way. Obviously, the problem as well now is memory space. That's just, another issue. I think they've set back to it. But going back to the question of, like, what I liked out of them all, like, Microsoft was good, but I did feel like, not that it dragged on, but it was the same thing. Game Pass. Yeah, I got the point. But like, some things you want to check out. Like I think what's really nice as well how E3 is how they're entertaining celebrities as well. Because obviously the gaming industry is becoming a lot bigger. So it's really interesting. Borderlands too, like how they bring like Kevin Hart in that as well. I thought that was really interesting. And even behind the scenes, it's nice just to see the making of it. And also just the quality of gaming nowadays is just impeccable. That one really stuck out for me. But obviously Microsoft, I was expecting it as well. But then it's like Game Pass in my face. Game Pass in my face. I get it, but like, it's like, quality over quantity. That was just quantity. It's like, cool. I know you have loads of games, especially with pandemic, private time. But like, you want it to like really stick out. So like, obviously, it was good, but. Nah, the one that stuck out for me, I really enjoyed the Borderlands. I like that aspect. Obviously, Microsoft. I'm a gamer, so Xbox. So that was the main one.
Yeah, I think for me, in terms of like, in terms of like who had like the most impact, like games coming out, I'd have to go with Microsoft and Bethesda. The Game Pass, especially that did it for me. But in terms of say. Out of who presented the most games that I'm personally most interested in, I'll have to go with Devolver Digital. I tend to play quite a few indie games these days, and they're probably like the biggest indie publisher right now, and they always do crazy stuff. The last I think like 3 years they've been doing it now, 3 or 4 years I think they've been doing it, a few years anyway. And from the beginning they've had like this character Nina Struthers, the CEO of Devolver Digital, played by Malia. I can't remember her name right now. Sorry, but she's played an actress, Malia something. But they just do like these crazy conferences, right? And this year was no different. With the whole thing about what was it now? They just take a piss out of NFTs with the whole they're gonna put their conference on a videotape. On a VHS tape, and they're gonna remove the tab so you can't record over it, making it a non-fuck withable tape, and they're just gonna make one of them, So it's so on brand for them, and of course they announced some games as well. They quite announced a few games, and one of the games that kind of got me interested was where's it gone now? It's not even, especially not just the way they announced it. I think it was where's it gone now? I had it down somewhere. I think it's called. It's not Demon Throttle. I don't think. I can't remember the game, but anyway. But yeah, it's coming out on Switch only, but only as a physical copy. So there's gonna be no download options at all. Like you can't download it from the Switch store or whatever. It is a physical copy only, and I just thought that's such a cool idea in a world where everything's pushing towards digital downloads. So yeah, that caught my attention. Like, I don't know, maybe it'd be a shit game, like maybe it'd be an absolute terrible game, but just the idea that they're gonna release a game, an indie game no less, a physical only in a world where, especially we consider that digital distribution really benefits the indie market, right? And it's just gonna nope, we're gonna do this physical only. You're gonna have to buy it from our store, and they'll make as many as they need. And it's like, all right then, you have my attention. When this game comes out, I'll probably be purchasing the copy and trying it out. But damn, which game was it though? Like, shit, man. I think what was it? Was it Demon Throttle? Someone might have to correct me or something if I've got that wrong. But I think it might be. Yeah, it's Demon Throttle. It is Demon Throttle. It's Demon Throttle. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Oh wow, yeah. I'm just having a look at it now. Yeah, I mean that's a great way to market the game, to be honest. Like, because that way it limits the number that there is. They can say we're only selling this many copies if they really wanted to. There's only one supply source to get the game. So the same way you just said the game could be shit, but you're gonna get it anyway just because of the way that it's a bold move.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So no, I really like that. Good PR campaign.
It makes me think of, when you get cars and you've got like only 4 cars in the world sort of thing of the specific type. It's like that's how gaming industry is going now with the game. So like digitally, can you get that live? It's only be like this amount, but can you get digitally and not like everyone can get, Ford or like Benz sort of thing. Just like nah, this is specific. So it's interesting marketing strategy, and like you said, it's got your eye to it. Actually, I do remember now seeing that game in the conference.
Who do you feel had like? Oh, as we say this. What for you then was like the biggest game? Like out of all the things that announced, like what would you say is like definitely what you want to get? Like what you're most looking forward to the most?
You know what? In a really, really weird way, like I quite like the look of the Guardians of the Galaxy game.
I was thinking exactly. I was like, the Guardians, the way Star-Lord was flying around. I remember he's the character, and I was like, yo, this is actually no key.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking the exact same thing, man. Yeah, no.
It's not what I would go for, but I saw it and I was like, it's different. You know what I mean? And it's a single player game. It's not all being crazy multiplayer. I don't know what it is. Like, I think because we're inundated with so many multiplayer games, I actually appreciate a single player story experience quite a bit more now. So yeah, that's definitely a game I was just like, I think I will get it. I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I was thinking, should I say it? Should I not?
I say it, man. Always say it. Always say it.
It was just a flying around. If you can say, I was gonna say eventually, like Guardians of the Galaxy are low key. Obviously, I want to see a bit more into like the gameplay.
Yeah.
You see much gameplay, you saw like him flying around and just obviously it's like similar from the film itself.
Yeah.
Attacking that creature. But one game actually that was quite good was Elden Ring. That was that game that low key quite good. Obviously, Halo was the main one. Like I was like, cool. Like I love the storyline of Halo. I grew up playing Halo. That's the main one, and like it's interesting how they incorporated the grapple gun and then the multiplayer. But like you, I want to get the more single player because I've realized when I play multiplayer, I get too competitive and I get too. I need to chill out. But Elden Ring surprised me actually. That one was really. I was like, ooh, that looked really interesting. Like the sword fighting and like the power really just like, oh, that's it.
I'm gonna say something kind of crazy. Like I don't think I've actually, other than like maybe in like I don't know, a Curry's or something years ago, I've not actually played Halo. Like
okay. You know
But
what?
this one, it looks really interesting though.
I haven't played God of War and I haven't played Spider-Man. I'm low key. Like, I know
Okay.
some friends who have moved from Xbox to PlayStation just to play Spider-Man, and I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
if I play, I would play God of War and Spider-Man.
Well,
But yeah, Halo and Gears was like my main thing. But
if
yeah,
we're
no,
talking
that's
about
Okay.
crazy gaming confessions, I never completed Final Fantasy VII. So
I don't know, did I?
Hey, I didn't either. Do you know what? The only one I've ever finished is Final Fantasy 8.
okay, that was
That's
okay. Yeah. I think no, I don't think I played that one actually, but I think I remember my brother playing it.
okay. For me, it was a personal achievement because my older sister was playing it, and I finished it before her. And she'd been playing it for months. I think even probably like over a year, like just playing it bit by bit. And then I just went and I just smashed through the game. And then I remember going to tell her like the part at the ending, thinking she'd finished it, and she just went crazy. Like, you gotta shut up, I ain't finished it.
Uh, I'm going to get your opinion, guys, on what do you guys think about Avatar?
Oh, the movie. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I like
Guess
the
it's a movie and a
scenery.
game now, but yeah.
Yeah, I like the scenery and like the concept. And I know a lot of people complain that it's first person as well. So I was a bit like,
Hmm,
there wasn't much gameplay to do it. But I was wondering like what you guys thought of it, because that was a game as well, like as well as Guardians of the Galaxy. That was something that I was like, oh, that looks. I'm not gonna lie. One thing now with the technology is just the scenery is absolutely beautiful.
yeah.
So
I mean, it's one I'll definitely have a look at. Just for the experience. Like, I'd pretty much play anything. But like, yeah, like you said, scenery wise, like there's so much they can do with it. It can be a proper experience. So yeah, no, I'll definitely keep my eye on it, see what more they release, what more gameplay and whatnot. But I don't mind if it's first person. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it's the whole point of Avatar. It fits in with the whole film. Like, you're in an avatar, you're not meant to see yourself. It's meant to be like, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with Avatar, I'm trying to refresh my memory a little bit. That game it was a little bit forgettable to me, to be honest. Um, but I mean, I guess visually it looks pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I guess it's supposed to tie in somewhat with the movie coming out in some degree. The new movie that's coming out, I think next year or whenever that's coming out. But yeah, I mean, it looks. Let me just get a little clip here. No, it looks pretty cool. It looks, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I have to refresh my memory a little bit more on it. But I say I'm not overly interested at the moment. I mean, I remember seeing it at a conference and not really thinking too much of it, to the point where I've now just literally forgotten what they even showed about this game. So I guess that kind of sets my reaction.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I like scenery and stuff. It's beautiful, and I thought, oh, but then the gameplay itself was a bit like, obviously, it wasn't much. That gave way too
Hmm,
much. I was like, because you spoke about Guardians of the Galaxy and like just games that really stuck out.
Mm.
I
yeah.
thought like, oh, there's this interesting with it, but I wonder how they're gonna go about it as well. So yeah.
I would say this though, just about Avatar in general, the first movie that came out back in, was it 2000 or something, right? Like it was like a 3 hour film or near 3 hour film or something. It was quite a long movie, which is
Yeah.
fine. But my biggest problem with that movie is that it felt like it could have been a masterpiece, and instead it was just okay. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like
Mm,
the reason for that, at least for me, the reason for that was that they explained literally everything. Like every step of the way, they're explaining everything, and it's like, dude, like, can I, you know what I mean? Can I figure stuff out? Can I be surprised? Can I be amazed? They're just explaining every little thing along the way, and it's like, mate, like, and a part of me is like, look, I get it. They spend a lot of money in these movies. They want people to understand it. They want, Putin, and I get why they don't want to have too many people confused. But it just meant for me,
yeah.
from an artistic point of view, and maybe I'm wrong. And I'm not making these big budget movies, so what do I know, right? But it just felt for me like it could have been a masterpiece, and instead it was just, it was alright, it's alright.
Yeah.
But we'll see about this
No,
new
no,
one, maybe.
yeah. I definitely feel you on that because I remember watching it and I went to the IMAX to see it, and that was the part that was more amazing to me. Like, story wise,
Yeah,
could forget most of it, to be honest, but it was seeing everything and like the sounds, like the rich sound in the IMAX, like it was for that whole experience. It was pretty much just if you want to almost say it was that one huge tech demo for like 3
Yeah.
hours. And like, what was that mineral called? Was it, they called it unobtainium, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
something like that.
Who came up with that
Like,
name though? Really? Unobtainium? Really? Out of all the names you could have come up with, unobtainium. All right, that's what we come. Okay, I
So
see you. I see you.
I have a confession about that film actually. So
Ooh.
I had the flu like a few days before or a week before, and I went to see my friends in the cinema. I slept halfway through it. No word of a lie. Like I've seen it again, obviously, but like
Yeah.
I understood already the whole storyline. Like for me, the storyline was generally like, cool, just something to guide it along, like you guys rightly said.
Yeah.
But the cinematography, obviously, it won its award. It was well deserved.
Yeah.
But I was ill and I did sleep a little bit. I can't lie. But I understood it straight away. But I'm grateful for the cinematography, but that's a confession. But yeah.
So you slept through the film and still understood it. It's like that. Well, yeah.
Exactly. So
was it that you slept through half the
I like
movie
the
and.
film. It's a good film, don't get me wrong, but the storyline itself is just, obviously we're breaking the age of technology now. I mean, just I said, like, for gaming, the technological side is just beautiful, like the scenery and stuff. It's just like, wow. It depends, like, people got different feelings towards either the storyline or towards the gameplay itself, just all that side.
Actually, speaking of that, just a little bit of a tangent from the E3. Because just mentioned story, and there's a big talk right now on sort of gaming Twitter about story in gaming, and in particular with games like The Last of Us and that kind of thing. And I mean, what's your guys' take on that? Do you feel like this is like because traditionally, if you go back to like the 80s, like stories in games were almost non-existent. Like it was just like you're the guy, you go save the girl because reasons, right? That was just that. That's all you needed. But then along the lines, as games get more sophisticated, they get bigger, they get more in depth. Different ideas coming in, and now we're at a point where you do get stories that are on par with like books and movies and and that kind of thing. And that's just a fascinating development for me to see over those years and just like where that can go. But what do you guys think of that?
I mean, I actually had a conversation about this the other day on LinkedIn. Somebody shared an article about the Uncharted film and then the Last of Us TV series. And on one side, I was like, it's very good now that we can hopefully start to get good adaptations. Because before, like, as much as Super Mario's cool for nostalgia as a film, it's not great. It's not a great
classic,
film.
man. That's a classic.
It is a classic, but we all know it's not what you would consider like, oh, that's like the game. Like, I enjoyed Mortal Kombat growing up. We won't really speak on Street Fighter. That was that's a film that's a film best forgotten. But in terms of like the budgets now, like you were saying, like everything's kind of come up with gaming. The stories have got real depth. Like they're writing mini films in game format. And what I noticed, the trend of like a good, maybe in the last decade or so, more actors are diversified and they're actually starring in games now. So it's being more recognized. I think there was a time where in terms of annual takings, the video game market has taken over the film industry. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. And at least on like movie sales and stuff like that. So in terms of like a good fusion, this is a good piggyback for the gaming kind of side of things, because this opens up that world to a new audience. And also in terms of the movie industry, they get to piggyback off the success of the game. They get a little cash injection. So it kind of works in like a cycle. So I hope to see now that they're actually putting, more kind of top tier talent into the films rather than just always unknown people and just the poor examples of films that are out there. So I'm just excited to see that they do this right. And the fact I know with like Naughty Dog's actual involvement with these particular IPs makes it more promising than other stuff that's come before, where it was kind of like, here's the source material, do what you're doing, And like Resident Evil's the only one that's kind of survived. What's it got, like 7 films or something like that?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Some TV shows coming as well now.
See,
They keep making
so
them. They
that's
just keep making them. I don't know who's
it's
watching
just
them, but they keep making them.
someone out there's watching them. Like that's
For real.
if you really want to say like a success story in terms of gaming to like traditional media, Resident Evil would be one of them. A lot of people would be like, I didn't know there was that many films, but clearly it's making some money, otherwise they would have stopped.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, I think it's a good move to see more of this, and just brings more life to the IPs themselves.
Yeah, I saw. I think it was on Kind of Funny. I can't remember what one of these podcasts anyway. One of the gaming podcasts. But they were talking about the prospect of a game being sold on the basis of the actor that's in it. So you know how a movie starring The Rock, it sells because The Rock's in it. You go because you're a Rock fan, right? And then we could have a time where you have a game coming out and it says, I don't know, starring Nolan North, and that's the main reason to play the game. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's a possibility, maybe with some games. I don't know if that's possible for all games. I feel like there's always going to be the type, like for example, like The Last of Us, Nolan North, not Nolan North, sorry, Troy Baker.
Yeah.
Great voice actor, absolutely brilliant. I've heard him in other games as well, and some TV shows. A great voice actor, nothing bad about his skill. But if they made a Last of Us game, and well, I guess Joel won't be in it. But tell you spoilers. But I don't know. Maybe if they had like a flashback.
Spoiler alert.
Maybe if they had like some flashback scenes wherever they wanted the voice of Joel, but they got a different actor to do that voice, and as voice actors can do different voices and they train for that. They got somebody else. I know they got Troy, I don't know, Candlestick Maker to do the voice, right? And he's just as good. I'm not bothered. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at that. I'm not like, oh my god, Troy. You know what I mean? I'm still. It's The Last of Us. I like the first game. I like the second game. Yeah. I liked the DLC that he did. I like the comic book that they released. It's The Last of Us. I'm not as good as Troy Baker is. I'm not buying the game because of Troy Baker. So I feel like I don't know. Maybe some games that could work, but other games, I feel like I don't know. We'll see. I guess anything can happen, but. Maybe.
Well, the great examples though is like Keanu Reeves, and they brought him out, and then for Cyberpunk, and then
yeah.
had a lot of issues. But again, Borderlands, they're trying to adapt a lot of games into films. I really wish they did the Halo one, but I'm still there's like 10 minutes or 15 minutes of it, Halo film, and it's legit really good, and I'm still upset about it. But I feel like games nowadays, it's a very hit and miss.
Yeah.
With the storyline. And I mean, some games great, like for example, playing Call of Duty or something, you don't want to think about it really. You just want to shoot people or whatever, really good story. But then some stuff, I feel like the story needs to. But there are some good stories, like I think The Walking Dead, when they did the story part of that, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So there are some really good elements and stories out there. And there's some stuff where it needs to be improved. But again, it depends what kind of games as well. Some things just cinematic, some things you want. All right, cool. You also want to be surprised as well. You don't be like, oh, what's going to happen next? You also want that surprise and okay, what? And also challenge us, because in a sense, you want to be the superhero. That's what you're playing. You want to be that character and you try and save the world. It's like, cool. How can you make it different? And see how can you make it durable as well? But yeah, storylines are really important in the sense like keeping you intrigued. So it's I'm not going to say every game has good storylines. Truth. There's some games that I'm improving, and I think especially now, like you said, it's overtaken the film industry, and now a lot of actors have come by. And I said more importantly already, Kevin Hart's in it. There's inside it. Then also 12 minutes. They got James McAvoy, William Dafoe.
Oh yeah. 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot more that's being incorporated, and I mean like. Now with animation and everything, they're making games itself films, stuff that you can put on, stuff that you can, just watch. So it's nice to have that multiple choice, and especially, trying to get away from the world in a sense. But yeah, I think storyline is vital, but it's also nice just to like, you need to have a detox just to unwind. But, it's like a campaign and then just a multiple.
Yeah, you need both. You need I think you know, like, yeah, the serious stuff at times and the dumb stuff at times. You have a good
Honestly,
balance of both.
Yeah.
I really like the storyline on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I thought that was actually really dope.
Well, speaking of story, you just mentioned Assassin's Creed as well. Ubisoft announced a bunch of games at E3. So they announced Rainbow Six Extraction, which
Hmm.
that looks really cool for me actually. But I don't know how. I mean, I haven't been into Rainbow Six games. I played Rainbow Six 3 and it was alright, but I never got into them. But Rainbow Six Extraction with the whole alien sci-fi thing, that looks like my type of game. So now I'm kind of thinking to myself, how do Rainbow Six fans feel about it? I mean, I don't know because I haven't seen anything,
I,
but
Yeah.
but
I have to
then
one issue for me about Rainbow Six is I find it's very repetitive, and I think that's one issue
Yeah.
a lot of games have is that it's repetitive. And I'm wondering, like, how are you going to make it different, with the missions, but so we're enjoyable. I mean, like you said, like it was really interesting with how you did it. But I'm just thinking, yeah, you can only unlock this character, and that by saving them. So I'm just wondering, like that's my question to them is like, how are you going to keep this engaging? Like, what more? Of course, now they brought the aliens to work together, but
Yeah.
it's just like you want to storyline to it. Well,
I liked the original name for the game and the fact they had to change it.
what's the original name?
I don't know. Like, you're planning to monetize this, right? I don't know if I can say that.
Okay, okay,
It, it, it,
interesting.
it begins with a Q, and a lot of people have to do that when they come back from holiday if you're not in a green zone.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
I
Considering
think it was
the
it was a
pandemic,
smart move to change
yeah.
it.
Considering the world we're in, it's like, yeah, they probably made a good choice to that was a bit of a buzzword right now, isn't it? So
Yeah, would have got a lot of
uh,
clicks though.
oh, for real. You have to spray it when you buy it, though, isn't it? Like spray it with disinfectant. So. Ubisoft, though, I think had a pretty good outing on their conference, though. I mean, like, so yeah, Rainbow Six 3, Rocksmith, Assassin's Creed Valhalla expansions, Far Cry 6, which looks awesome. They talked about accessibility in gaming as well, which is awesome. The Avatar game, and they mentioned a little bit about Ubisoft Plus, which is their new service, kind of like the. I'm assuming it's kind of like I haven't given much details, but I'm assuming it's kind of like the Xbox Game Pass service where you pay monthly fee and get access to all their games. Like EA do it as well, and.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not a bad idea. I guess it's just one of these things like how many of these servers can exist at the same time. It's like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. Like how many of them can exist at the same time before you're just like, you know what, enough's enough. I could only do one, right? And
Too many subscriptions, man.
exactly, it's like how much are you paying out before it just becomes ridiculous. So I don't know. There needs to be some kind of amalgamation of that. So Xbox teaming up with EA. That suits me. I don't feel like I play enough Ubisoft games to warrant pay for their subscription, But Far Cry 6. Here's the thing about Far Cry 6, though, and this, I guess my concern about it, is that as awesome as it looks, the problem I have with Ubisoft games in general, and it's like the last few games I played, which was Far Cry 5 and Assassin's Creed Origins, where it's like a really good game, but they just go on way too long. They stretch them out way too long. And I know they're trying to get you to buy this and do that and whatever. It's like, but it just feels way too long. And for me, I just feel like, I get similar with the Avatar movies. Like, it could have been a masterpiece had they cut it down by about 20 hours, because you've got like a good 20 to 25 hour game in there, like a solid 20 to 25 hour experience in there. Take off the remaining 20 plus hours of that game, and that is amazing. You add it on, and it's just, bro, dude, like how many, you know what I mean? So that's kind of my concern about it. That's probably going to be like that. But I mean, they've got was it Giancarlo Esposito do it as a villain this time, and he's amazing. So there's definitely some interest in there. I might have to try that one and just see how I feel about it. Do you guys? Have you played any of sort of recent Ubisoft games? What did you think of them, like in terms of their length and that kind of thing? I guess not then.
I
I
mean,
mean,
like,
Guess that's a no. Nah,
I'm,
okay.
I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Obviously, that's not, that's Rockstar, but I am
mm,
struggling with the length of it. But I'm
mm,
also playing like Valhalla. And the problem is with some Assassin's Creed games, like I like doing all the side missions. I'm OCD in a sense. I need that 100% complete. Obviously, it doesn't happen anymore.
oh,
Like back in the days,
yeah,
I was hunting those
yeah, yeah,
achievements.
yeah, yeah.
I was hunting those achievements, but I can't do it anymore. But trying to do the side missions and everything. I mean, I guess when you're older, when you're working as well, you do want to play a little bit of the games. It does
Mm,
drag a bit.
Mm.
They are good, and I know they had the mode where you can just do the main bits as well, which is nice. But still, I don't feel like you get that full like
experience, right?
experience of
Mm.
it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that is one issue with Ubisoft with the games, and then it does become repetitive as well. And I think
Yeah.
with some
Mm.
games that it's a similar mission, it becomes repetitive. Cool, it's all right, cool. Take over of this camp, and you level up. Okay, take over this camp. Like, cool. It's not
Yeah.
the camp. It's just like keep it more engaging and a bit more sophisticated. Otherwise, people will get bored, or like you have a grind time. Like I'll find out I'll grind like 40, 50 hours and then I'll stop for a bit because it's just, it's been a bit too much.
Yeah.
So I think that is one issue for me about Ubisoft in general, like with games. But Far Cry, I haven't played many of them. I've only played like bits of them in general. But looking at the trailer, it does look good. But that's obviously my
Yeah, best Far Cry in my experience was Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which was actually an add-on to Far Cry 3. I haven't actually played Far Cry 3, but it once gave away the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon as a free download at one time, so I got it, and that's a great game. It's short, it's to the point. It doesn't waste time.
Mm,
It's got like this 80s retro set in the future type feel to it with like dinosaurs and lasers and everything. It's got the voice of Michael David Hasselhoff in there as well. So yeah, Ubisoft did alright with that one. They did alright with that one. But yeah, the other games I've played in recent times, yeah, it's like, you know, they have these amazing ideas, amazing concepts, but it's just so much fluff in there, and so come on,
yeah.
come on. But
it's like cut it down a bit, guys. Cut it
right,
down
you
a
know what I
bit.
mean. Not every idea has to make it into the game. You know what I mean? Like, trim it down a bit, dude. All right. So let's see. Who have we talked about? Nintendo. Okay, so Nintendo. They don't really do conferences. I guess they do what they call the Nintendo Directs, and they've been doing those for a while now, where they just kind of go direct. I personally feel like the Nintendo Directs work for Nintendo. That kind of, because Nintendo fans a lot of the time, at least I mean from what I can tell, and I'm just going by my experience. What the rest of the world is doing, well, I guess I don't know. But it just seems in my experience, a lot of Nintendo fans tend to be into Nintendo. Like, I mean, if you buy a Switch, you buy it because of like Mario, you buy it because of Zelda, you buy it because of, the Nintendo branded games. And yeah, you play the cross platforms and the third
Yeah.
party games as well. But that's not necessarily why you're buying it. And so them doing something that just speaks directly to the fans as, okay, we've got this coming out, we've got this coming out, we've got this coming out. You're going to buy it because it's Nintendo. Let's not piss around. I feel like that format works very well for them. But yeah, they talked about, they talked about quite a lot of games actually, but the ones that stood out for me the most was Metroid Dread, which looks really cool. I also mentioned that they are working on Metroid Prime 4. And they're working on a Breath of the Wild 2. They didn't mention the Switch Pro, which is the rumor going around. So,
Mm,
oof, I don't know if that means that they're waiting to surprise us later on, or
probably.
maybe it's just a rumor. But yeah, they did announce quite a lot. Did you guys see the Nintendo Direct? And what did you think of it if you did watch it?
So I personally didn't get to see it. I did hear about one thing that people have been raving on about was to do a Smash. Like,
Oh yes, yes, yes,
but
yes, yep.
but everyone was so cryptic on Twitter. Like, I had to do like a proper search, and it was just all I kept hearing was Tekken music in Smash. And I was like, what are people talking about? And then I'm like, seeing, like, I'm literally looking at it now and I'm just like, it's Kazuya. Like, I'm like, that's a bit crazy. It's not enough to make me want to buy the game. Like, I have a Switch. I do want to get Smash Brothers. Like, it almost sounds like a cardinal sin to have a Switch and not have Smash. But
I don't have Smash either, so
okay, that's right. I feel better now.
I don't. You know what? The thing about Smash, it looks amazing. Every time I see the adverts for it or the clips from it, it looks amazing. But when I've played it, I can't.
It's a big learning curve.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a simple game, but when you see these guys play at a high level, it's a different story. But yeah, so that was like the big takeaway that I saw. I saw people laughing about Metroid Dread just in terms of people reselling already online, apparently, the game. I don't even know how that's possible. Yeah, like I saw people's going as like, yeah, if you're one of those people that's buying it, it was almost saying like, kill yourself, like you're an idiot. But I'm like, how do you resell a game that just got announced? I don't understand. But
I thought it looked pretty cool. Because there's in just a few people. There's also the small population of people that thought that looked really awesome. But okay. I was playing a little Metroid Dread to myself.
Yeah.
Just sit my Switch on the bus playing Metroid Dread. Okay.
Just make sure no one sees you playing it.
Well, that would be dreadful, wouldn't it? I guess.
I don't even rub you, bro.
Probably someone takes it off me. Was like, oh, it's Metroid Dread. You got it back.
Yeah, take it back, mate.
Oh, mate, I thought you were playing something. I thought you were playing something good. But yeah, I mean, I played a lot of Metroid games, to be honest. I mean, I played some of the Metroid. I think the first Metroid Prime game, and I played little bits of like the old school Metroids as well, like the 2D ones. But yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a Metroid fan specifically, but I just thought it looked really cool. I thought what they showed for Metroid Dread, especially the fact that it's a 2D game, which they haven't done for something like 19 years now, according to the thing. Oh. So yeah, it just looked really cool for me. I was like, all right, I'm down for that. You know, I've had my Switch. I think not maybe right on launch, but not long afterwards. Maybe about 5-6 months afterwards. And the physical games that I have on it are the ones that I bought with it. Everything else has been like an indie download, and even then, I haven't bought a game for months. Maybe even over even more than a year now. Like I haven't bought a game for Switch for maybe a year and a half, 2 years. It's been a while. The only games I play on it now is the stuff that you get on Nintendo Online, like the old school NES games and SNES games from the online service. So yeah, it's kind of like my Nintendo. I feel like it needs me to put something in it. And it needs
a bit of love, man.
Right, it's thirsty. It's hungry for something. I mean, you need to put a little Metroid in there, a little cartridge thing. Do you guys have any thoughts on Breath of the Wild 2? Because I didn't say too much about it, but I mean, I actually never completed Breath of the Wild. I did like what I played of it though. It honestly just got a bit too hard for me, and I was like, nah, allow this. But yeah, Breath of the Wild. I know someone's out there going, what a pussy or whatever, but it's like, whatever, man, whatever. When games get too hard, I have to decide for myself, look, how much time do I have to get good at it versus how much time do I want to put into this game? And it's like, you know what I mean? It gets like that. You got to decide priorities. Yeah. So, yeah.
But Zelda games, they're notoriously not easy, though. Like, they've always been challenging. I've only played a bit of it. I've probably played the first, 20% of the game. I really enjoyed it. It was just so long, so much to do. I mean, looking at the sequel, I probably would play it without even finishing the first one. To be honest, I'll just watch a video on YouTube, see the story, see the ending, jump to the next one. I know there's a lot of people out there. Yeah, see, so that's what happens. All right, cool. He kills, what's his face? He saves the girl. Job done.
Like cliche, it's a literal cliche of storylines nowadays, saving the girl. Yeah.
You know what? Come to think of it, actually, Nintendo has pretty much kept that throughout most of their games, haven't they? Like, you play as the guy that saves. I mean, I guess apart from Metroid, but I feel like Mario. You're trying to save the princess. Zelda. Link's trying to save Zelda. I'm sure there's other examples as well that I can't figure right now. But I guess Nintendo have been running that trope for a good while now. You know, nobody's called them out on it, so they managed to escape the feminists. I guess so. They somehow managed to escape the nobody. I guess maybe that's a testament to the fact that not that many people play Nintendo games. So it's like, nobody's even noticing that they've got these sexist storylines running for like 30+ years.
Oh man.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Zelda, but like you, I probably did. I played actually half because my friend's one that I played. I was like, cool, mechanics aren't bad, you know, it's good, but it's just, I don't know what it is, man. I really don't. I guess, I guess just now, I guess just nowadays, it's just, the flow of it was just like, it was good, but like I said, I just didn't find it as captivating as it was. I thought maybe the part I should have played from the beginning because like what was going on a bit. I'm like, cool, this was good, but yeah, no, I think that's probably my era of it. But no, I'm a big fan of Zelda. Like, you know, I'm like, cool, watch a few clips, but it's not something that I like follow religiously. And it's like, oh, that's my go-to game. But like, it's like ultimately like a Mario thing. But like we've been saying already, Nintendo's being consistent with what it is. But like, I feel like, especially nowadays, maybe they try something different in the sense of like, yo, let's push another. Okay, you know, now you're coming to the table. You know, the big table, the small league. But you know, I mean, it's iconic games. Like, if people love iconic games, you know, they don't want to like move on from the past. So I guess there's that. Always gonna have that cool fan base of it. But Zelda's always, you know, it's a game in itself for it. So for me, like, you know, the conference second, they didn't give much away personally. So I don't know like what to expect. You know, because it could be just. Well, it's not that I would never play it. You know, of course, I'm down to play, you know, a lot of games. So, but I didn't feel like there was much to me that really engrossed me. So,
I'm gonna ask you lot something. Yeah.
All right.
Did you used to think like this is me when I was younger? Did you think Link was called Zelda? Because I know I did.
You know what? I'd have to say no, but only because I wasn't that familiar with the Zelda series when I was younger. Like I mean, I guess I heard of it, but you know, I mean, we were poor growing up. I mean, poor now to be honest. But you know, so we don't really play like they didn't play every single game, and Zelda was one of the games that I ended up missing along the way. And by the time I played Zelda, that was not until the Ocarina of Time, which is what 98, 97, 98. Around about then, and yeah, I felt like, I mean, as far as I can remember, I felt like I knew that was Link from the beginning. So yeah.
The only way I found out, I got that Link's Awakening on Game Boy Color, and I remember getting it going, oh, his name's Link, because I'd never played it before that. I just used to see it, Legend of Zelda, and you just see this guy just going like this with his sword, and I was just like, oh, his name's Link. I said, wow. So I was like, oh, Zelda's the girl. Oh, this is like 8-year-old me, just mind blown.
you always say you learn something new every day. So.
Alright, so yeah, there's a lot that happened at E3. Let me just kind of run through. I'm not going to say all the games, but let me just kind of run through some of the games that I don't think we've mentioned so far. So yeah, Starfield got announced, Stalker 2, Back 4 Blood, Psychonauts 2. I think we mentioned Halo Infinite already, which I'm looking forward to that definitely. Diablo 2, Replace, which looks really cool. The Ascent, that's out in July, so that looks really cool as well. Forza Horizon 5, that looks amazing. Redfall, which is getting a lot of buzz on Twitter as well. Let's see, they also got announced. So we mentioned Guardians and Marvel. What else? Hitman, Sniper. Final Fantasy, with a bunch of Final Fantasy games really. Babylon's Fall, Life is Strange, True Colors, and yeah, there's loads of stuff. I'm sure I didn't write them all down, but loads of stuff got announced.
There's World War Z. There was Battlefield.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
World War Z, Battlefield 2042, the Outworlds as well, Plague Tale. There was quite a few.
well, before we
Back for
sort of end
Blood.
this, then. Oh, so was that?
Back
Oh,
for
back for.
Blood.
Oh yeah, yeah, cool. That looks really cool, actually. I know it's based on the Left 4 Dead, which I played a little bit of, but Back for Blood looks really more like my type of game. So yeah, I'm
It's
looking
like
forward to
Turok.
see how that turns out.
The creator of Turok that like it went back from. So they were saying like there was some like fintech to that. So that looked really interesting as well.
All right, so yeah, before we wrap up and end today, let's talk about one more thing about E3, or not. Well, not really even about E3 because technically it wasn't. But Sony, PlayStation have decided. I think did this last year if I remember correctly as well. But they decided to not take part in E3. Now, of course, they have announced some of their games. They definitely got some heavy hitters coming out over the next, I guess, year or so, whatever. But they haven't taken part in E3. Now, do you guys think that hurts PlayStation's brand, or do you feel like actually no, it's better for them?
It's a tough one. Like with the hardcore fans, you're like, cool, we got our dedicated show. Like whenever they're gonna announce it, it's like, cool, we're just watching about PlayStation, nothing else but that.
Hmm.
But I think for what you really want with E3 is to expose everybody to everything. So it's
Hmm.
kind of like, well, I'm watching this one about the indie gamers, like at the moment. Oh, this next one, it's got like Capcom. Like I'll check that out, or I'll watch this one about Microsoft. Now it's more you're gonna watch it because you know about it and you want to watch it. You don't really just stumble across it and go, ah, yeah, I'll give it a punt. You know what I mean? So hardcore side doesn't make a blind bit of difference. If anything, it just makes them go, yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, Sony standing on their own. They don't have to share the limelight with the other companies. But from a more general kind of perspective, I think it does hurt a little bit with more of the casual gamer.
Hmm. What do you
I
think,
personally
Zeke?
don't think, I don't think so at all. To be fair, I mean, like it's not the first time to see when it started. Like back in the '90s, Sony wasn't part of E3. It went until later, and E3 have kept restructuring. Being said, like going through the history of it. Um, for me, what I feel like is the gaming world nowadays is just so big. There's so much that can happen. Like consoles, in a sense, can have their own
Mm,
conference in a sense. Like if you think about Xbox, they're trying to get all the main games out, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. But if you have like this pure moment around the back scenes, like maybe 48 hours of different parts. Oh, this is what Xbox can do now. The Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S. You know, people are just gonna like see the big names in general. I mean, cool. If you're going to
mm,
the conference, it'd be nice to see all the different games. But it's like saying, oh, cool. You've got Amazon. You said your Amazon Prime. You've got Netflix. You've got Disney.
yeah.
You got a conference there. They got all little bits of it. So for me, I don't think it makes a difference at all because they've got their own legs to stand on as well. I mean, they're very well established. People, they've got their hardcore gamers as well. I think people, especially with Spider-Man, that was a big game, and a lot of people moved from Xbox to that, or and PlayStation as well, just for say for Spider-Man, God of War. They've got their own games, and obviously they've got their own
Mm,
company. Um, I think it might be a wake-up call towards E3. How can we make it different, or wake up call to other studios to be like, look,
mm,
maybe to branch out, or down your because like you said, if you're paying for all these subscriptions, you're paying for another room, or you're paying for the house at the end of the day when it comes to accumulate. And then also
mm,
like nowadays both games is trying to focus so much in each time that how big's attention span. So I mean, I think if anything, it makes people more curious, and it might be a good marketing strategy as well. Maybe next year they might come back, or because
yeah.
Sony hasn't released that much detail for the review there as well. I mean,
Hmm.
Xbox has, but everyone knew what Xbox was kind of releasing, so it might be a good marketing strategy. But it doesn't, in my opinion, make a difference. If it is or not, people are gonna click, highlight words. People like God of War, Spider Man, that's gonna stick out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Halo or something, that stick out. I guess equally might be good thing better for obviously smaller industries like Nintendo, etc. Um, but yeah, for Sony itself, I mean, it might be a good marketing strategy that they're going to try and do. So yeah, that's my honest opinion about it.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. I mean, I feel like Yeah, I mean, like what Alex explained about for the hardcore gamers, like guys like us, God of War comes out, whether they had it at E3 or not. You know what I mean? I'm interested in God of War Ragnarok, right? Regardless. So I think for guys like us, it's definitely not going to make that much difference. But then the truth is, the bigger audience is the casual market, right? So and E3, one of the things that it's been very good at is generating that hype. Because everybody's talking about it. All the news sites are talking about it. You go on sites that aren't even gaming focused and they're talking about E3. Newspapers, this and the other. Everybody's talking about E3. They've got their section talking about E3. This was that is E3. So when you're not a part of that, you're somewhat out of everybody's kind of viewpoint at that point. Now, that being said, of course, E3 is good at generating hype. It's not the only way to generate hype. So I guess it depends on what Sony does next, and I'm sure they're going to advertise and market these things appropriately. At least I imagine they would, but we'll see. But
Still didn't have that in conference as well. What I heard.
It's still what? Sorry.
I've heard there's been rumors that they're gonna have their own conference anyway.
Oh right, yeah, they probably do their own thing.
Yeah.
They probably do their own thing.
That sounds about right, to be fair.
And things like Tokyo Game Show and other stuff like that, they're probably still gonna be part of as well. But if they do their own thing, I mean that could still be big, but it generally doesn't generate as much hype as being a part of E3, especially like if you go back to the days of old where they had the conferences and they had like the auditoriums like booked out and they had all the crowds and everything, and they had all these they had like practically theatre productions going on in these things. It generated so much hype.
How far back are we going? Because like back in the early 90s, they were like passing porn tables. That far back, man. Like that was the reality. I was like, Sega wasn't there back then. Like,
well, maybe not that far back. Maybe not that far back.
Back in the day, so I was like, oh damn, for that 90s, the porn tables. They were marketing like they used to be like technological marketing, so they're marketing dishwashers and stuff. It wasn't even just games back then.
Yeah, well, it's the name. Was it Electronics Entertainment Expedition? So yeah, it's been about games, I guess, for a while. But yeah, they had other stuff. They had other stuff. But you know what? I remember. I mean, not E3, but it was another festival or games conference or something that I went to years ago. And yeah, they had that, like the booth babes and that whole thing. And I remember like, I would have been something like, I think maybe 19 or something like that at the time. So I'm like, oh, this is awesome, right? You just watch this place and you just see all these like girls got the big tits and everything. You're like, what is this? And you can take pictures with them. You're like, oh yeah, let me take pictures. You get a bit older, you kind of look back and it's like, yeah, it's a bit cringe. It's a bit cringe. Yeah. You don't need to be doing that. Yeah. Probably a good thing they don't do that kind of stuff no more. But yeah, I remember that.
No, those were good times. I remember going to one in Earl's Court. I think it was there a couple of years. It was called the PlayStation Experience. It was like they had the whole of it, and it was just games upon games upon games. Like when PS2 came out and everything, they had like the coolest goodie bag. Like like I remember, I think I was like 10 or something. I'm just seeing all these consoles everywhere, all these games. And I think more than anything, it was those kind of live experiences that kind of solidified, kind of, if you want to say, my love for PlayStation in that respect. But yeah, they was, I suppose, like you were saying, Zeke, them kind of standing out on their own, it's not really anything new for them because they've been doing stuff like that. Like I think they ran that event for a good few years back then, and it was a great promotional tool. So yeah, them doing this on their own, yeah, it could actually have an upside, like you said, as a marketing strategy. I would say though, if a company like Microsoft decided to do what Sony's doing and stepped out of E3, I think E3 would be in trouble.
Yeah,
because that would be too heavy hitters gone.
Yeah, and even though Nintendo are, I guess, technically part of E3, they've kind of been doing their own thing as well. They just do it right about the E3 time.
Like that.
You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, if Microsoft be like, you know what, we don't really need, and you know what, to be true, Microsoft probably don't need E3. You know, they
Nah.
probably don't. They could set up their own thing, especially now they've got Bethesda on their side. They've
Yeah.
got EA as part of the Game Pass. You know, they could be like, you know, let's forget E3. Let's do, I don't know, X3 or whatever they call it, and
Yeah.
just have all Xbox games and be like, yeah, Microsoft this, Microsoft that, Microsoft this, Microsoft that, and it's like, all right, well.
That could be next year for all we know.
Hey, we could be giving ideas right now. We could be giving them ideas.
I'm saying, I'm like, yo, there's no E3, man. It's gonna be
Listen,
ridiculous. Like Amazon
if,
Prime, you know, YouTube that's got everything. Ain't gonna be no more. It's gonna be specific, but
I'm just saying, if Satya, was it Satya Nadella? I've sort of got that name wrong. Satya Nadella or Bill Gates or any of them CEOs at Microsoft, if they're watching this, and like next year they're like, you know what? In fact, Bill Gates at Microsoft no more, is he? I think he left Microsoft anyway. And whoever, doesn't matter. Any of those CEOs at Microsoft. What's the guy? Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer, yeah.
Phil Spencer. Yeah, if they're watching this and they're like, yeah, actually, maybe we should just do our own thing. I'm just saying, maybe give us a little kickback. You know what I mean? Like send a little ting our way, just a little ting.
You know, official sponsor, you know what I mean?
these guys, they know marketing.
Maybe a few of those Microsoft shares, you know what I mean? Maybe a couple of them Microsoft shares, a couple of them Xboxes, and you know what I mean? Future consoles. It's just a little thing, man. It's a little thing.
Yeah, man. Free Game Pass.
Free Game Pass, yeah. Just a little thing, man. Just a little thing. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't being greedy. You know what I mean? Just a little thing. Just a little thing.
Games and Frames, sponsored by Microsoft. This is gonna be
right.
so
You know what? That's
we were talking about Sony or nothing. Like, yo,
big Microsoft logo. This big Xbox in the corner, and people like, oh, but we're not biased, of course. we're not gonna be biased. We can have big, massive. Hey, listen, that's a whole other thing about YouTubers, and you know what? Maybe something for another time, because that's another 5 hours right there. Maybe something for another time. But yeah, that's a good place, I think, to wrap this one up. We just gone a little bit over an hour, so that's cool. But yeah, big up to you guys for coming through. Really appreciate you agreed to do this. You know, you're the first two guys to follow, the first two guys to ask, and you both said yes, so that is awesome. Thank you for doing this. Guys watching at home or watching on your phone or wherever you may be watching this or listen to this podcast, Tubecast. Yeah, drop a comment. Let us know what you think. Drop any suggestions, comments. I said comments already. It's not live right now, but it is being recorded without edits. We might do live in the future. Actually, we might do live in the future. So yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know any what's the one I'm looking for? Suggestions. Of course, let us know what you thought of E3. You know, E3. Let us know about your favorite games. Let us know if you thought Link was Zelda. If you watch this far, let us know if you ever at any point in your life thought that the character that you know is Link, if you ever thought that was Zelda, let us know that as well. But yeah, that's gonna be it for now. So it's goodbye from me, Mr. Alex.
Goodbye, everybody.
Mr. Zeke.
Peace out.
And yeah, make sure you follow these guys on social media, different channels, links in the description to our social medias, our channels, and everything else. So till whenever, if ever, peace.